Tennis is the gentleman's game, and there are certain rules and ethics on display. We've grown up learning the right way of playing tennis on and off the court, from the likes of Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer, but that doesn't mean everyone subscribes to that code of conduct. Bad boys exist in tennis too, and that gives us the chance to look into an incident between Casper Ruud and Holger Rune for Roland Garros. First up, a locker room accusation. After the Roland Garros quarterfinal, apparently Casper Ruud, one of the nicest fellas in tennis, went up to Holger Rune, someone with a controversial past, and yelled in his face, "Yes!" Believe what you will, but it's coming directly from Rune himself, and talking to a Danish newspaper, the Dane said that Ruud taunted him after the match in the locker room. We're not sure just how accurate this claim is. Of course, just because Rune's been involved in some mix-ups, we'll get to that, it doesn't mean he's lying for sure. And also, just because Ruud has a good boy image in tennis, that does not mean he's got a free pass, and we'll believe whatever goes down behind the scenes. Frankly speaking, there's a good chance we might never get to the bottom of it. The 19-year-old Dane believes that the RG finalist shouldn't have celebrated in that manner in the locker room when there were only the two of them. We completely agree with Rune, but there's just no proof to back up either of the two's claims. Holger was quick to mention that he doesn't mind any sort of celebration on the court, but it's bad style to celebrate in a big way in the dressing room. That reminds us of the muted celebration in the locker room from Federer after his spectacular win over Roddick in the Wimbledon final in 2009. Roddick explained how Federer and his team, out of respect, weren't celebrating audibly the entire time Roddick and company were there. Unfair to expect the same from any other player, to be honest. But what do Ruud and his team think about their taunting celebrations in the locker room? Next, Ruud and his father deny locker room claim. This is where it gets interesting, because Casper Ruud addressed the extravagant celebration claims by Rune and denied them completely. The Norwegian believes that it's a fabricated lie by the 19-year-old and that it was a big dressing room with many players and the "yes" thing never happened. He went on to say that it's a big lie and this never happened. Well, it really seems to be Rune's word against Ruud, but the fact that other players were also present there, we just find it a little hard to believe that Casper would have done that. In fact, if he even had a bit of history related to this, we'd be quick to blame him, but he just seems like a very nice and textbook rule follower. This is not something we expect from him, or any tennis player for that matter. He also explained that Rune's someone who plays with a lot of emotions involved, and that's not surprising. But it's a shame that Rune had to come up with some lies to frame Ruud and his family. Ruud's father joined the conversation too, and was quick to defend his son. He called the accusation from Rune to be a pure lie and dismissed the whole matter. His son recalled how he took an ice bath, had some pizza, listened to music, went home, and mentioned how he just wants to move on from the incident. But it gets even more interesting, and now Rune's mother jumps to son's defense. Mothers really are your #1 fans, aren't they? Even if you're rude to them, they'll come to your defense, no matter what. Anik believes that Ruud's father wasn't even in the dressing room, so he can't possibly know if Rune's lying or not. This is quite interesting because now it casts a shadow of doubt over the entire incident. Why would Christian say that it was a pure lie if he wasn't in the dressing room? Of course, maybe Casper told him and he believes his word. We believe it too. But the way he said all that, it implied that he was in the dressing room too. It's spinning our heads. We really don't know what to believe here. It's also extremely interesting because during their match, Rune completely lost control of his emotions and at one time yelled, "Leave, leave, leave," towards his player's box, and as a result, his mother Anik slipped out. He also yelled at the umpire a couple of times as tensions grew between the duo during the game. By the end of the match, Rune was so angry that he refused to give his Norwegian counterpart a complimentary hug, and they had to settle for a dull handshake. Reflecting back, Ruud advised the 19-year-old to grow up and show some respect, but apparently Rune believes that the 23-year-old was unsportsmanlike throughout the match. Let's discuss Rune's homophobic slurs. It's not the first time Holger Rune has been in the headlines for something controversial. Only last year, ATP revealed that it was investigating Rune for yelling gay slurs during a semi-final of an ATP Challenger event in Italy. He called his opponent, Thomas Martin Echeverry, a faggot. This was a very serious offense, and Rune got a lot of criticism for it, and deservedly so. His mother, unexpectedly, jumped to his defense again, and instead of teaching her teenage son some manners, was quick to blame the media for giving this incident so much attention. Rune himself changed his apology statement a couple of times, and even used the Justin Thomas way of defending himself. That's the way of saying that you were directing such slurs at yourself and not at the opponent. Yeah, sure, we believe that. While Rune did get away on that occasion scot-free, it feels that he's developing a bit of a bad boy situation on tour, and that might affect the obvious talent that the youngster possesses. In fact, parents can play a huge role in such situations, and his mother should be doing the right thing and addressing her son's issues behind closed doors. Otherwise, Denmark runs the risk of losing one of their biggest tennis talents in recent history. Next, in other news, close. Andy Murray's brilliant grass run comes to an end. Andy Murray, or should we say Sir Andy Murray, playing with a metal hip, strung together one of the most impressive runs in the Stuttgart Open as he defeated the likes of Bublik, Kyrgios, and Tsitsipas on his way to the final. The Brit hasn't won an ATP title since 2019 and came within one set of winning what would have been one of his biggest achievements, but sadly fell short to an impressive Berrettini performance. Berrettini, too, was coming back from a long injury delay and was very impressive throughout the tournament. He found the perfect combination of hard hitting and serving to keep Murray at bay as he won the final in 3. With the grass season in full swing, we're excited to see the likes of Murray, Berrettini, and others test their luck on the greens of Wimbledon later this month. And now, Daniil Medvedev dethrones Novak Djokovic. After Djokovic's defeat to Rafael Nadal in the quarterfinals of Roland Garros, it was obvious that Medvedev would overtake him with a good run in the grass season. Even though the Russian lost the final of the Rosmalen Grass Court Championship to local boy Van Richthofen, he still had plenty to celebrate as he became the world #1 in men's tennis. Germany's Alex Zverev suffered a serious and scary injury in his semifinal loss against Nadal in the RG, but it was enough to see him sneak past Djokovic to #2. While his return to the tour isn't confirmed, Djokovic still remains in contention for a top spot. But with no ranking points being given for Wimbledon, the Serb only has points to lose because he is the defending champion. Medvedev isn't even allowed to participate in the Wimbledon Championships this year, but it seems that he'll be able to retain his #1 spot for at least a while now. He does have the chance of increasing his lead at the top as he takes part in the Halle Open, and with favorite Zverev out injured, he remains one of the favorites. Finally, Roger Federer's limited plans for tennis return. The Swiss maestro recently revealed that he's got limited plans for a return to action for this year's tour, and he also added that he'd be featuring in the Laver Cup, which takes place at the end of September. It seems that Federer's targeting a return to action sometime in August, and with enough training, he could make a return to tennis with the exhibition tournament Laver Cup before joining the ATP competition Basel Open in his hometown. The 20-time Grand Slam winner will be competing for title number 104 at home. He's recovering from a third procedure on his right knee, but if all goes well, fans should see the GOAT in action around September. That's a wrap for this video. What do you make of the Ruud Rune incident? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.